Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexie. I know it's been a while since I uploaded a video on my channel, but a lot of things have happened in the last year and a half, and I figured it was about time to restart my journey on YouTube and start doing videos again. And I thought this would be a good time. This is going to be kind of like a very tough subject for my first video back. A hard subject to listen to. There's probably going to be a lot of triggers in this video, and I apologize, but we went through something recently and it was a lot, and I kind of took to the internet for help, and I felt like I wasn't finding videos or the help that I needed, so I figured that I'm not the only person going through this, and I thought, why not make a video to help others? So the topic that I'm going to be discussing, and why I say this could be a triggering video, is I'm discussing miscarriage. So a week ago, today is October 8th, 2020. A week ago, last Wednesday, September 30th, 2020, I found out that I had miscarried. I went into my doctor's office expecting to be 8 weeks along, so I was very, very excited to see how the baby had progressed and you know, hear a stronger heartbeat, because I had gone in for a ultrasound at about 5 weeks and 6 days, and at that point I got to hear the heartbeat. It was great. We had decided to expand our family. We have our little boy named Jack. He is 3.5, he'll be 4 in January, and we just thought it was time to expand. We want one more baby, and that was gonna be it. We had removed my IUD in the end of July, and by the next month, August, by the end of August, we had found out we were already pregnant, so we had gotten pregnant really fast. We had never had a problem getting pregnant. We actually got pregnant with my son while I was on birth control. And then we got pregnant with this baby right after removing the IUD. So getting pregnant wasn't the problem. And my first pregnancy with my son was very, very, very easy. I didn't really have any complications. He went full term. It was just easy. So I guess I took that for granted. I didn't realize how hard pregnancy could be for some people, and now it kind of put it in perspective. So I have respect. Well, more respect than I ever had for anybody else that's ever gone through a hardship with conceiving, pregnancy loss, infant loss, any of it. Just more respect, because it's hard to experience, and I wish that no one would have to experience this, because it's not an easy thing. Whether you were planning for a baby or it was, you know, a surprise, it's hard either way. So I had gone in for a ultrasound at 5 weeks, 6 days. And when I had gone in, they had thought that was going to be my 8th week, because of the dates and everything that I had given them. They thought that was my 8 weeks, but it turned out to be 5 weeks and 6 days. He said the baby looked good size, good heartbeat. I think the heartbeat was at 115. So fast forward to September 30th, when I went in for the appointment, my 8-week now appointment. I went in and he had started the ultrasound, and I knew right away when the ultrasound started that I had lost the baby. There was no chance. When he finally saw the baby on the screen, it actually measured at 5 weeks and 6 days. So it turns out that I lost the baby the day of my first appointment. But I obviously didn't find out until I was supposed to be 8 weeks. So that is considered a missed miscarriage. Sorry for pain in the background. But that is considered a missed miscarriage. So that is when the baby stops growing and a woman does not know. There was no signs. There was no bleeding. There was no cramping. There was nothing. I still had signs that I was pregnant. I was exhausted. I was nauseous. There were still signs. So I thought I was still pregnant. I didn't think anything was wrong going into that appointment. So it was definitely a shock. I wasn't expecting it. I was heartbroken. I still am, but I'm a person that processes it a little bit differently, and I think that the way that it happened, I'm kind of thankful I had the miscarriage, and that it just, you know, I didn't just randomly miscarry, you know, just start miscarrying, because that gave me a chance to grieve my loss of my baby and then go through the miscarriage process. So I wasn't experiencing everything at one time. So I think I'm thankful that that happened. At first it's a huge shock. You're like, how does that happen? How does the baby just stop growing? How did I not know? How was there no signs? But I've also done a lot of research, watched a lot of videos, seen other people's experiences, and that's helped me. Again, why I'm trying to make a video, maybe to help somebody down the road. I hope that no one would go through this, but I know that it's inevitable. It's a part of life, and I just hope to bring comfort to somebody that needs it in their time of need.
Mom.
Yes.
Mom.
Okay, lay down, baby. So my options were pretty much to let it happen naturally, or take some medication to help jumpstart the miscarriage process, or a D&C. My doctor didn't really want me to do a D&C, so he sent me home that day and said, let's wait until next week, and if nothing happens until next week, let's talk about the medicine. So I decided to do that. I was like, okay, I'll listen to my doctor. I'll wait till next week, and I will decide to take the medicine then if it doesn't start. So my husband was very, very thoughtful. He decided to take the rest of the week off when we found out, and he decided to take us as a family and go do something for the weekend, so I didn't really have my mind on it. So I wasn't kind of like dwelling. So we went to San Diego for the weekend, and it was a big help because I wasn't just sitting there thinking about it, and I just don't do good with that. So he knew that, and he took us out. Come Monday, I had a phone visit with my doctor, and I told him nothing had started, there was no pain, there was nothing. So he goes, okay, I'm going to prescribe you the medication to jumpstart it. You can go pick it up at the pharmacy at any time, and you can do the process when you're ready. So my husband took Monday off as well. So this was, what, today's the 8th, so the 5th, I think, was the day that I actually miscarried. We went and picked up the medication. My doctor also prescribed me a higher dosage of ibuprofen with the medication. So I went and picked up the medication, and I took the medication, which was 4 pills to dissolve under my tongue, at about 1:45. So we get home, and I go and I sit down, and I'm starting to watch a Disney movie with my son and my husband. And probably about 40 minutes after I take the medication, I start having a lot of pain. I'm gonna kind of discuss what happened to me. So again, this is probably gonna be a trigger. So if you don't want to hear about it, then I would shut the video off now. Because from what I was researching and everything, not everybody was experiencing what I was experiencing, so I was kind of worried if I needed to go to the hospital or not. So this is why I kind of want to explain it to anybody that needs it, because everybody's experiences is different, and I feel like I wasn't prepared enough for the whole process, so maybe I can help somebody else become prepared enough or understand what's happening. So about 40 minutes after taking the medication, I started cramping pretty bad. So I decide to, I kind of wait it out, and then I'm like, okay, this is getting pretty bad. About an hour after the medication, I go into the bathroom, and it felt just like when my water broke with my first pregnancy with my son. I was in the bathroom, and all of a sudden I like feel or hear that pop, and it's just blood, just everywhere. It just gushed, and that scared me, because the doctor said you will probably experience some cramping and some bleeding, and then the pharmacist was like, well, you'll experience probably a little bit of bleeding. So I'm like, okay. Well, I guess I wasn't prepared for the amount of blood there was. So I end up going to the restroom, and for the next 3 to 4 hours I couldn't leave the restroom. It was just constant flow. So once I felt the pop, there was no more pain. It was just blood, a lot of blood, and then I started passing the large clots, or the large clumps of tissue. Yeah, that was, I guess I wasn't experiencing that. I guess I didn't know what or I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know what to expect. I guess I wasn't prepared enough for what I was going to experience. I didn't know what pads I had to buy, so I didn't have the right pads. I had to send my husband to go and get the, the giant maxi pads. So if you haven't experienced it yet, but you are going to, if you're in the middle of a miscarriage, I am sorry. I feel you. You're not alone. But if you're gonna go through it, go and buy some really heavy maxi pads, like just a step down from diapers, or if you even want to do the diapers, it's up to you, but you are going to need something big, something for a really heavy flow, because with the pads I had, I wasn't able to leave the bathroom, and I think that made my experience worse because I wasn't able to be comfortable. It was just a very, very difficult experience. And with the amount of blood, it scared me, because I'm sitting there, the doctor said, well, if you fill 2 pads up in an hour and it's 2 hours consecutively, then you need to go to the hospital. Well, because I didn't have the right pads, I was filling 2 an hour. So I was like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, that's so much blood. I need to go to the hospital. I'm like, I'm gonna die. It's a very emotional experience. And I know that that's kind of like a really big leap, a really big jump. But again, when you don't know what to expect, you're very emotional. Your mind starts going in all these different places, and it's hard, because anybody else that I knew someone that had kind of the same experience as me, but her experience was different than what I was experiencing, and then anybody else that I knew had a DNC. Okay, set it down. So anybody else that I knew that had a miscarriage had a DNC, so it's a completely different experience. So I'm like freaking out. And my husband's like, okay, he starts doing research. He's like, I don't think we need to go to the hospital. Let's just, take this minute by minute, hour by hour. So eventually I get calmed down. I start getting cleaned up a little bit, and I get the right pads, and I'm able to leave the bathroom. I went back frequently. And I would say, so this heavy bleeding lasted for about 7 hours after I had taken the medicine. So by 8 o'clock I had passed my final tissue, and I was able to start relaxing for the night. And so I did. I was able to just put on the maxi pad and start going and laying down and relaxing, because at this point my body is exhausted. I'm tired, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I'm everything. My body was just overwhelmed. But that actually turned out to be the hardest part. So by 8 o'clock that night, I had passed everything. I had passed the baby, I had passed all the tissue, so I was just still bleeding. So with that, I went to bed. The next day I wore the same pad, well, not the same pad, but I wore the maxi pad the next day, and the bleeding had lessened, so there wasn't so much. Okay, so there wasn't so much the next day, and still no pain. So I only had the pain. I only took 1 ibuprofen, which when I took that when I took the actual medication to start the miscarriage. So I'd only taken 1 ibuprofen, and then the next day it was... Hi. Yeah, careful please. Are you gonna sit with mommy?
Yeah.
Okay. This is my son Jack. So the next day I was feeling okay. I was still a little tired, and I had about a normal, I guess, amount of blood. Yes. Okay. I had about a normal amount of bleeding. It wasn't excessive or anything. So by the next day I was able to, so that was Tuesday. So Wednesday I was able to return to a normal pad. So now today is Thursday, so 3 days after my actual miscarriage. And I had a doctor's appointment this morning just to make sure that everything is okay. Everything has left. The miscarriage didn't miss anything. It just kind of cleaned everything out, and it did. The only thing left are some blood clots, but he said that those will, you know, obviously as I finish bleeding from the miscarriage, those will go with it. So that is where I'm at right now. He says everything looks good. My bleeding has reduced a lot since Monday. He said I could bleed up for another week. I'm not sure. It's only been 3 days since my miscarriage, so I know everybody's different, so I'll see how that goes. But as far as, you know, or where do I go from here, my husband and I do still want a baby, and so we are going to try. At first my doctor was trying to tell me that I needed to wait 3 months, but doing my own research online, I have learned that that's not necessarily true. That if you're mentally okay, they actually recommend to start trying as soon as possible, because I guess it's better chances. So just because I had a miscarriage, they say it doesn't mean that I'm going to have another one. So I do have a high chance of having a happy, healthy, full-term pregnancy for the next round. So my husband and I are going to start trying as soon as possible. I know every woman is different, every body is different, so some women get literally pregnant right after, like weeks after the miscarriage, and some it takes them a cycle or two. So it'll be interesting to see how my body handles it and what it does. So that's going to be in the next couple weeks. Hopefully within the next few months we will have another positive test, and a happy, healthy baby. That's our goal. If you guys want updates, or if you kind of like want to follow along with it, with the process, please let me know. I would be happy to help other women that are still struggling or are going through it themselves, because like I said, everybody is different. I wanted to make this video to try to help somebody else. So some women, the medication takes days for it to work and days for the miscarriage to complete. Mine was 7 hours. So I'm kind of happy that excuse the noise, my son's playing with his cars. I'm kind of happy it happened as quickly as it did and the way it did, so I was able to mourn the baby and then go through the miscarriage. It was just, I think, the best way for me mentally, and mentally I'm ready to start trying again. So I'm kind of just waiting for my body to stop and heal itself from the miscarriage, and then I'm gonna see where it goes from there. I'm gonna just trust my body. If my body's ready, it will get pregnant. If it's not, then it'll take some time. I'm just gonna trust my body, and hopefully, because I'm hoping that since it wasn't hard to get pregnant with either my son or this baby, hopefully it will not be a difficult process this time. So like I said, if you guys want update videos or anything to kind of discussing about trying to conceive and the process I go through and how my body is coping with it, I would be happy to do that. Just leave some comments down below or like this video, whichever you prefer. And if you're new here, hi, welcome. Sorry, this was a tough subject. But if you want to hear more or whichever, you can subscribe. But thank you guys so much, And again, if you're going through this or need someone to talk to, please know you're not alone. You can comment and I would be happy to help anybody just go through this experience, because it's not easy and you do need people. You need that support, you need that help, and I hope that everybody has that. If not, there are people that can be there for you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video wasn't too long. And I will see you in the next video soon. Have a great day. Bye.